What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the recording. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. This is a bizarre story, and it's just like one of those things where you just wonder why can't like certain groups of people just leave kids alone? It just seems so odd to me. And with this latest story from the Daily Mail, it's odd. I think that you know some of these organizations, maybe they start out with good intentions, or they want to do good things, help people, and they get infiltrated by weirdos. I don't know, because I assure you, what I am about to read is real. Planned Parenthood banned across Saskatchewan after supplying ninth graders with a card game intended for queer youth that teaches them about being attracted to televisions and other types of very interesting things. Now, given we know how YouTube's going to treat this video, I'm going to run a quick, well, you know what? I'll run a quick ad. Have a VPN? Don't have VPN yet? Check this out. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, it's 2023. If you don't have a VPN, you're missing out on a ton of benefits. Not just a more secure connection, but if you're paying for Netflix, Disney Plus, or any other streaming service, you're already getting locked out of a ton of additional content that you could be enjoying if you used a VPN. And since they've been sponsoring the channel so long, they've rolled out a massive discount for my viewers. That's right, 84% off plus 4 months free. It's $2.03 a month, 4 months free, 84% off. Private Internet Access also offers privacy on all your devices, lightning fast global server network. And look, outside of all the additional content you're going to be able to view out there using Private Internet Access, it also has a strict no logs policy. It's open source. It has state-of-the-art updates. It's instant to set up. You can put it on all of your devices, your tablet, your computer, your mobile phones. It has unlimited bandwidth and so much more. If you don't have a VPN yet, make today the day. Use my link in the description to get Private Internet Access, start being more secure, and unlock loads more content. A Planned Parenthood organization has been banned from schools in Canada, a Canadian province, after kids were offered an A to Z guide that included depictions of extreme acts. Planned Parenthood Regina in Saskatchewan delivered a seminar to grade 9 students. So how old would you be then? Oh, 13, 14, right? 8th grade, like 10th grade is when you get your driver's license. So 15, 13, 14 maybe. Grade 9 students at high school before kids were able to take the card game that included a series of spicy terms and definitions. Some parents complained that the education minister, Dustin Duncan, announced that the Planned Parenthood Regina had now been suspended from working in the region's schools. It's completely inappropriate to be in a classroom and has no part being in a classroom, Duncan said. A spokesman for Prairie Valley School Division, where the school is based, said the material was inappropriate and has asked Planned Parenthood to remove it from future education. So I don't know if they try to rip off like Cards Against Humanity or something like that. Cathodilia, being attracted to one's television set. Yes, that's one hot little box. It's always obedient, and you never fail to turn it on. If the sight of your remote gives you wood, you might have cathodilia. Now, what's interesting is this could have been worded as like a fun fact. Hey, this is a thing. There's that TV show like My Strange Addiction. People love their cars or a fence or a carnival ride or things like that. But this is written like extra inappropriately. And like, again, if this was, fine for adults, they have delivered this type of health presentation in grade 9 class, the controversial A to Z guide, which, by the way, is also intended for gay by queer young people, was not referred to in the presentation, but was available at a side table after the presentation. Well, yeah, I wonder why they weren't forthcoming about it. I wonder why it was just secretly off to the side. Definitions of these type of acts included spicy language and were accompanied by cartoon portrayals. Got to make it kid friendly. These are kids after all. Mail Online has decided not to report some of the material because of its overly spicy nature. The school division spokesman said, while the presentation itself was aligned with the Saskatchewan curriculum, the presenter brought secondary resource, which was not. A quote, single copy of this resource was taken by one of the students. Are you sure? It was only one student. One student took it, and then that parent was enough to get them to ban Planned Parenthood from the schools? Seems unlikely. And also, by the way, I'd be curious who this presenter was. Why were they, sneaking in extra materials featuring cartoons and like, specific definitions of particular acts? What was that? What was driving that person's interest in sharing this message with young kids? I mean, along with all sorts of descriptions, the A to Z also made bizarre references to terms like cathodilia. The card game was produced by the AIDS Committee of Toronto back in 2014. ACT was approached for comment. They said Planned Parenthood Regina, which is led by Executive Director Julian Wotherspoon, said in a statement it was disappointed to be banned. So they didn't even disavow it. Look, I'm no prude. Look, I get it. High school, stuff's happening. Stuff's already happening in middle school. But it's just like, why be clandestine about it? Why be like weird about, bringing extra outside the curriculum material? Why not just be upfront about what's there so that people can, decide whether or not they want their kids involved in that? Earlier this week, our staff had the opportunity to engage the bright and curious students of Lumsden High School on the topics of contraception, STBBI in prevention. I assume that's just like STDs, I assume. They just have a fancier, funnier name for it. And consent. It added a part of our education and outreach program. We also bring along secondary materials targeted to address specific questions that youth may have about these type of things. At the visit, a resource the school did not approve ended up in the hands of a student. Because how did that happen, do you think? Did it just magically appear there? Did whoever the presenter was, did they slip it in their backpack when they weren't looking? Or was it out on a table presented for students to take? And was it available in multiple copies? I mean, this stuff just never ends. Like local school districts said it wasn't aware the inappropriate material would be offered after the seminar, and they didn't think to ask what would be taught. Believe that if you want. I mean, nobody's buying this stuff. And by the way, I know everyone has their various opinions about this particular, some of the things this particular company does. I think that's probably like, a conversation for a different video, one that is exclusively available on Rumble or something like that. In my town, it was where you went to get rubbers. That's what, if you were 15 and, you didn't want your parents to know, you went there and you got some of the free rubbers. So you didn't end up having to go back there for a different reason. But that's all I ever really knew about it until I got older. It's weird to me that they would say like, well, golly gee willikers, how did this material get in there? I just wonder, how could that have happened? I think it's just very, very suspicious to me that they would just be so wondering. And then, it just raises questions about the person that brought the material in the first place, what they do in their spare time, things of that nature, which will all come out in the next coming weeks. I'm sure of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it and subscribe down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.